So here are the seats for the TN360. As you can see, the vinyl's pretty much had it. This is the backboard and this is the bottom part. We're going to try and recreate this pattern, and we're going to use similar black vinyl to just basically recover them. We're going to put some new foam on there and clean all that up too, and shall we go. So this is not going to be a tutorial on how to reupholster seats, because quite frankly I don't know. I've never done this before. I've done some sewing, made some curtains for the house, that sort of thing, but I've never actually reupholstered car seats. So this is going to be a new challenge and a new learning experience for me. So yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how this goes. It'll either be a total disaster and I've probably wasted $100 on materials. It's no huge deal. Or they'll come out quite nice and save me maybe several hundreds of dollars in having them reupholstered. So let's make a start. First start is we're going to make the piping, which is the little hard tube piece, like wire that runs around. We're going to make that first, and then we will measure out and cut the vinyl, sew in these patterns, and then stitch it all together. We'll see how it goes. So here we have my 1950s Alpha sewing machine. This thing is an absolute relic, but I love it. I haven't done a lot of stitching on it, of sewing on it. I've made a couple of curtains in my house, but that's all. I've never done vehicle upholstery, so it's going to be interesting. I don't know if this old girl has the grunt that's needed for this. We're about to find out. The presser foot for making the piping I was just talking about, I didn't have. So I 3D printed a presser foot, and the presser foot has a groove in it to take the piping. This is the piping, this little black cord, and I'm going to wrap that in some vinyl, and I'm going to put it through the machine, which is going to stitch it, and then the top and the side of the seat get stitched to this and to these parts here, leaving the piping around the edge as it should go. Now, my first stitch, I've made my presser foot so that it's just slightly further away, so there's a bit of looseness here, which is not really what you want, from what I understand. But what I'm going to do then is, when I stitch the whole lot together, I'll fit a different presser foot, which will pull it all really tight, hopefully, and stitch nice and close to the piping, keeping it tight. That way I'm not sewing over the same line. So I'm doing one now just to hold this all together. Then I'm going to do another one to attach the top of the seat to the sides of the seat when we finish. But first job is to make these. Now, just to keep myself in order here, I'm going to put a few staples, just a standard 26/6 paper stapler. I'm just going to put a few staples in just to stop it from separating on me or coming apart like that. Just so that I know where I'm sewing. Not quite a welding video or engine repair video, but hey, if it saves you money, you've got to be able to have a go at everything. Now, I have to lift the presser foot like this because it's too big for my machine. Okay. Now, I usually have this work light on, but I won't turn that on at the moment because otherwise you won't be able to see what I'm doing. Now, with this old machine, we get a bit of power and we give it a bit of a spin, backwards and forwards, and then away we go. Steady, steady. So there's the two sections of piping done. The first job, I've taken the staples out. They all are there. That's worked quite well. I've used just a normal thread, a sewall thread in this part, because when I join the top and the bottom together, I'm planning to use this Gutermann extra strong upholstery thread. Hopefully this machine will run it. And stitch tighter to the piping, and that way I'm not sewing in the same spot. So this stitching actually is really just to hold it together and give me something to stitch the top and the bottom too. But so the top will go on that side, bottom will go on the top of the seat will go on there, the side of the seat will go on there, and it will be put back through the machine, which will sew the whole lot together and pull that piping tight, hopefully. So the next stage of this job, I assume I've measured out the new vinyl and cut myself off a piece, and then I've allowed a fair bit extra to give me sewing room and room for error. Now this is sewing foam, or scrim backed foam. So it has like a polyester covering on one side, which helps prevent the needle from pulling through the foam. So this was actually a bit hard to get. I couldn't get this locally, I had to buy it online. And then I'm going to glue that to there onto the vinyl, and then when I sew the lines through, it should give that sort of pleated look, I hope. I'm going to find out. So we've got to put it with the scrim, which is this shiny side, facing up, and the other side down. So what we're going to use on my dining room table here is some Gorilla spray adhesive. Again, don't know if that's the right stuff. We're going to find out. I think it'll do. It says it's okay for upholstery. Going to give it just a little bit on there. Not too much. Not too thick. It smells nice. Yeah, let's go for it. Now we have to get it pretty good first time. Ah. Here's a closer look at the presser foot that I 3D printed. It has this groove to allow the piping to run in when you're sewing, see? Now, not my design. I got it off of a site called Thingiverse, which has all 3D prints you can download and then print with your 3D printing machine. If you're not into 3D printing, look, you can buy the feet for your machine. I just didn't want to wait for one to get here, so I made one. Now it's plastic, yeah, it might break. So far it's done 4 meters of piping, it hasn't broken, so it's pretty good. I'll put a link in the description to where I got the design for the piping foot from. And yeah, if you've got a 3D printing machine and you want to do this, you can 3D print your own feet for your machine. This is the standard type. We're going to put that on now to do the pattern in the vinyl. So I'm really not happy with attempt number 1. The machine skipped quite a few stitches. I've put in a bigger needle. It seems to be working better, but I think we're going to scrap that one, and we're going to have another go with a new piece. Yeah, the machine just didn't like it before, so I've oiled everything, cleaned the race, and put in a new needle. This is a thicker leather needle, and we'll see if we get a bit of a better stitch this time. Get it lined up. Well, that's come out really good. I'm pleased with that. Hasn't mixed even one stitch, and put the nice little ripples in there. The foam's all stitched on. Good. So now we're up to the tricky part. I've made the sides and I've hemmed them, and now we've got to attach the side, the piping and the top all together. So that means that I've got to sew through 4 layers of vinyl and the foam. That's going to make this old Alpha huff and puff, I think. This is the tricky bit. Let's see how it goes. It's doing it. Slowing down. Come on, okay. The corners are the most difficult to try and get it round. But the Alpha's doing the job. Sort of. There's one cover finished. Quite pleased with that. How it'll look on the actual seat frame is going to be interesting to see. But no, I'm pretty pleased. The piping's all nice and tight. Sure, it's not perfect. It's definitely not professional, but for a little mini work truck, it's ideal. And all I'm going to do now is repeat that process for the backboard. So that's both the covers made. I'm pretty pleased with that for my first attempt at upholstery. The piping's nice and tight, and I can't see any missed stitches. It all looks pretty good. So that's the backing, and that's the bottom. So the old Alpha performed quite well actually for a 70-plus-year-old sewing machine. I thought it would struggle going through the 4 layers of vinyl, but it actually did really well. I picked that up at a scrapyard for a couple of bucks a few years back, and yep, it was obviously well worth it. Foam's actually still good. When I was 15, I used to work in a factory building fiberglass boats. I was the only one small enough to fiberglass the bulkheads to fit in the gap. That's where I learned to fiberglass. Moment of truth. Let's turn it over. Ah, it's not so bad. I've still got a little bit of tightening up to do on the vinyl, but all in all, for my first attempt at doing a vinyl seat, I'm pretty happy with that. Mouse nest. Don't want that, do we? The frame for the bottom seat had convenient little clips that you could hook the vinyl into. This is the back frame, and this is just wire, and you use little metal hooks, so you pull the vinyl over and you hook it on using these. I think they're called hog clips, but they go through the vinyl and then clip it onto there. Again, never done this before, but we'll see how we go. I've got a new piece of underfelt, modern. If you remember earlier in the video, the last one was a bit of old-fashioned horsehair was in there, and that was all falling apart. So we're going to fit this underfelt to give it a backing, to give it that nice brown backing. Alrighty, see how this goes. So that's the top, that's the bottom. Lined up. A little bit more tricky than the bottom half. which I say is easy, but not. Just trying to let you guys see what to do. I want to just go fast. God, there we go. Right, just a quick look, see how it's looking. Yeah, not too bad. Look at that. I'll finish putting all those hog riggings in and get back to you. Okay, that's the back piece done. I'm really pleased with that. It's come up really nice. So what we'll do now is let's put them in the truck and see how they look. Okay, bottom section. Some under there. Under there. Down there. Back piece. There's in there. Clips on there. And clips on there. Right, well that's just the seats just sat in. They look really nice. I'm really pleased with them. So, I've been working on this little truck now for nearly a year, and this is the first time I've ever actually sat in it. And it is tiny. It is so tiny. Beep beep. It's going to be so much fun to drive around. Obviously still a bit to do. I'm currently working on the engine. I've got all your drivetrain. If you want to see the previous videos of repairing all the rust and fixing everything in the actual body, I'll put a link to the playlist up here and in the description. Once I've got all the mechanical stuff repaired, I'll put the final coat of paint over this and I'll put it all back together. So everything will be fixed up and then put back onto the newly painted body. Really pleased with the seats. First time I've ever done upholstery. Probably haven't done it right, probably made a lot of mistakes, but look, I'm happy with it and it didn't cost me a lot of money. So before we go, I'll give you a quick spoiler of what's happening with the engine, which is coming up in previous videos. So I will take you along and show you all the engine parts laid out in the workshop, and we'll end with that. So thank you very much again for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you want to follow along. And take care guys, can't wait to take this thing for a spin. Rum 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 rum, beep beep. It's going to be great fun, so tiny. Thanks for watching. Look at how tiny these little pistons are. Really looking forward to seeing how well this thing goes.